Well, ahoy hoy there Year 7s, and welcome to our next video tutorial for our Chapter 2. We were looking at measuring angles, and I'm sure you've done a fair bit of this back in primary school, but we'll see if we can extend that a little bit further. Alright, let's get stuck into it. Angles are usually described using a unit of measurement called the degree, okay, where 360 degrees describes a full turn. Okay, so if we had this line and we spun that line all the way around, okay, if that was a proper, complete, accurate circle all the way back to the start, that would be 360 degrees, okay, or a revolution is another name for it, okay. Really important you use the degrees. If you just wrote 360, for instance, without any other units after that, that could be kilometers, that could be meters, that could be degrees Celsius. We don't know, okay? So it's really important after any answer you put the appropriate units to make sure whoever's reading it knows what the units are, okay? In this case, we're talking degrees, all right? Okay, different types of angles, so you need to pause the video here and go through and write these up in your books. I'm going to skim through them really quickly, not too difficult. Different types of angles from acute to right angles, obtuse, straight, reflex and revolution. So acute's between 0 and 90, or if we want to be really accurate, 89 degrees, because a 90-degree angle is a right angle. Always know a right angle because you'll see a little box between the two arms. So you see a little box like that, that just means it's a right angle and it's 90 degrees, which is going to be handy if you know that down the track. Obtuse angles between 90, again if you want to be precise, 91 and 179 degrees. Straight angle 180. A reflex, again, let's be precise, 181 to 359 if you want to be really accurate. Don't worry too much. If you say between 90 and 180, you'll be fine. Okay, don't stress over it too much. Just trying to be more really precise. And revolution 360 degrees, so make sure you pause the video and write those guys up. Okay, moving on. To measure angles, we use one of these guys, protractors. Okay, protractors can be used to measure angles to within an accuracy of about half a degree, so they are pretty accurate to the human eye anyway. Some protractors have increasing scales both marked clockwise and anti-clockwise, so this is an example. We've got clockwise on the outside here, going from 0 round to 180 on the outside, but we're also going anti-clockwise on the inside, from 0 down the bottom here, all the way around to 180 there. Okay, and that's just helpful depending on where the vertex and where you put the protractor. It just allows you to measure the angles a little bit more easily, I suppose. All right, to use a protractor. So there are 4 steps, okay? If you've used protractors before, that's good. You may be able to skip over this. If you haven't, I'd be going through this carefully. Place the center of the protractor on the vertex, okay, of the angle. Now the vertex, remember, is where the two arms meet down here. So our vertex is this little point where my cursor is squiggling around now. The center of the protractor, the bottom part of this protractor is really just dead space. You don't need to worry about it. The center is actually there, again, where my cursor is. So I need to make sure that part is on the vertex of my angle, okay? And it's a bit fiddly, but I reckon that's pretty good. So that's what you've got to do. You then need to align the base line of the protractor along one arm of the angle. So I've done that along the bottom here. I could also spin this protractor around and align the base of my protractor there with this other arm if I wanted to. Okay, and read it that way. I'd get exactly the same answer. It wouldn't be any different. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it. I'm going to do it this way to just make it a little bit easier. If it works, again, fiddly. To be able to measure it, measure the angle using the other arm. So always reading between the two arms. So you've always look for 0 between those two arms, or at the starting point of those two arms. So in this case, I'm reading from the 0 on the inside, reading anti-clockwise in this case. All right, if I had have spun this around and had it lined up there, okay, I'm reading between the two arms, and there's my 0 here, so I'm actually reading clockwise in this case. All right, so you've got to be careful with that one. Make sure you don't read the wrong way, okay? So once that is aligned, again, I'll put this back accurately if I can. There we go. Start at the 0 point and you read around until you get to the other arm, which is here. So I've gone from 40, 50, 60, 70, go up to the smaller ones, and I'm at 75 degrees. Okay, 75, and make sure my units is after it, 75 degrees. Okay, really simple. A reflex angle. So if we're talking about a reflex angle, okay, remember that's greater than 180 degrees. So if we're reading, we need to measure that angle. A reflex angle can be measured by subtracting a measure from 360. So we've got a protractor that only goes to 180. This angle is way greater than 180. Okay, so to make it easier, we just measure the inside angle. Okay, if we've only got a 180 degree protractor, sometimes you might have a 360 degree protractor, we can measure it fairly easily then. But in this case, we don't. We've got 180. So we measure the inside angle because we can measure that, which is 75 degrees, and then we subtract that from 360. Okay, so 360 minus the 75 will then give you your answer, whatever that happens to be in this case. All right, and that's how you measure a reflex angle. All right, pretty simple. Okay, let's get on to some practice problems then. I want you to pause the video, get your protractor and measure, not only measure, and state the type of angle that each of these are. All right, off you go. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully this is what you did. Hopefully you got your protractor on that line as accurately as you can. Got the midpoint of the protractor on the vertex, got the zero, so I'm reading anti-clockwise the inside degrees here around to 60 degrees. So I should have an answer of 60 degrees, and I know off the top of my head and my general knowledge of angles, that's an acute angle. Okay, this one, again, same deal. I'm going to put that as closely to the vertex as I can. Not quite, I guess just fiddly sometimes. That's pretty good. Got my line on the baseline of the protractor on the one arm of the angle. So now I'm going to read on the outside starting at 0, reading between the two angles this way. So I'm reading anti-clockwise, 90, 100, 110, 120, and I'm looking at about 125 degrees. Okay, and I know that is a reflex angle. No, sorry, reflex, an obtuse angle. What am I saying, reflex? So that's an obtuse. So hopefully you had that written for that one. Okay. Yeah, fairly easy, not difficult. All right, next one. This is our reflex. Okay, so we've got a reflex angle. We want the outside that's greater than 180 degrees. Our protractor won't do that. So let's measure the inside. All right, so what I want you to do is pause the video now, measure the inside, and tell me what that reflex angle is. Off you go. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you have done that. I'm going to flip my protractor upside down here. I'm going to put the center point on there. Just need to make sure I get that line accurate. Get this in the right spot. Okay, it's pretty close. Reading from 0 between my two arms. So there's the 0. So I'm reading on the inside measurement here, all the way around, past 90, 120, 130 degrees. Okay, so that inside, it's going to get rid of that protractor. This inside is 130 degrees, but that's not my answer, is it? I want the angle on the outside. So I haven't finished. I've measured that inside angle, but now I need to take it away from 360. 0 from 0, 0. 6 take 3 is 3. 3 take 1 is 2. So I know this angle is 230 degrees. All right, so measure the inside, subtract it from 360, and you'll get your reflex angle. All right. Hopefully that's the answer you got, and that's the way you did it, and that's the working out, and that's the method that you follow. Okay, model what I do. All right. Last one here, you need to draw angles. So using your protractor, you need to draw these two following angles, 65 degrees and 260 degrees. Think about what we've done so far, and use that knowledge to create your own angles. All right, so pause the video, and then I want you to go. Okay, so done a bit of prior work while you were doing yours. Okay, so what you do is get your ruler, just draw a straight line. Doesn't matter how long the line is, make it a reasonable length, you don't want it tiny. Just draw a straight line like that. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that ruler, then you get your protractor. You can put it at either end. I'm going to put it up this end here because I just can't read it very well there. So I'm going to put the midpoint of the protractor at one end of that line. Okay, just there. Got the base along the base, that line on the 0 mark. I'm going to now need to read 65 degrees. So I'm reading on the outside from 0 here. Okay, going all the way around to 65. And what I do is put at 65, so 50, 65 is a dot. At that point, I'll then get my ruler again. I'm not going to get it out because it's a little bit tricky and fiddly using these tools. I would then place my ruler. I'll show you in a sec though. From the end of that line through the point that you made, and voila, you'll have your 65, whoops, still got my line tool on, 65-degree angle in there. Okay, that easy. All right, so you just get your ruler. I've got to figure out how I'm using this again. Okay, around that way. Okay, so from that point, again, just fiddly. Anyway, you line the ruler up. We'll move on. Line the ruler up from the end of that line to the point that you made, and just draw a straight line. Okay, that easy. Okay, 65 degrees. All right, second one, we've got 260 degrees. Again, our protractor only goes to 180. All right, doesn't do 260. So hopefully you worked your way around this one very similar to what you did here, in that we did a calculation first. Hopefully you went, okay, I can't draw a 260-degree angle with 180 degree protractor, so I need to subtract 260 from 360, which gives me 100 degrees. So I can draw a 100-degree angle. Yes, I can. Same deal. Would have got my ruler, draw a straight line, put my protractor on the end, make sure the line is on the 0 part. Okay, now I'm looking here on the inside, reading from the 0, on the inside here, going around to 100 degrees. Draw myself a little dot. Okay, then using my ruler, I'd line the ruler up again from the edge of the line here. I might get rid of the protractor from the edge of the line there through to that dot, and then you just draw a line going from there and through that dot, and that would be your 100 degrees. Okay, so that's 100 degrees in there that you have just measured, but that's not what we want. We don't mark that. We're not going to mark that 100 degrees, because what we want is the reflex angle of 260. All right, so that angle there. All right, so you then mark that as 260, which then makes that answer correct. If you put 100 there, that's not correct. Okay, you've drawn the angle correctly, but you've marked it incorrectly, because what the question's asking you to do is draw an angle of 260 degrees. So you've got to make sure you mark that outside part of the angle. All right, and that's it. Okay, so hopefully you understood all that. Fairly simple. If you've got any problems or questions, or didn't quite get anything, rewatch parts of the video that you need to, or go and speak to your teacher. All right, and that is all. Good luck on exercise 2B. Thank you. Bye bye.